Imagine being rich, powerful, and owning a Ferrari, then one day selling it all and disappearing. Why would anyone do that? Let's find out in Robin Sharma's classic, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Hi and welcome to the channel. Let's go. Julian Mantle was a lawyer everyone admired. He was brilliant in the courtroom, always winning, always shining. He wore expensive suits, lived in a mansion, and drove a red Ferrari that became the symbol of his success. But behind this glamorous mask, Julian's life was falling apart. Years of endless work, sleepless nights, and chasing money had drained his spirit. His health was failing, his relationships were broken, and his heart was restless. One hot afternoon, while defending yet another high-profile case, Julian suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed. The courtroom fell silent as he lay on the floor, gasping for life. Doctors saved him, but the message was clear: if he continued living like this, he would not live long. That night, Julian sat alone, staring at his Ferrari. The car, once his pride, now looked empty and meaningless. With a heavy heart but a strange sense of freedom, he sold his mansion, his Ferrari, and everything he owned. Then he disappeared, leaving his old world behind. Years later, his old friend and junior colleague, John, received a surprise visit. Julian stood at his door, but he wasn't the same man John remembered. Gone was the tired, wrinkled lawyer. Instead, before him stood a glowing, youthful man with bright eyes and a peaceful smile. He looked as though he had discovered a secret that the rest of the world had missed. John was stunned. "What happened to you, Julian? Where have you been?" Julian smiled. "I went to India, in search of a new way of living. And there, in the Himalayas, I met the Sages of Sivana. They taught me wisdom that changed my life forever." Curious, John begged Julian to share his story. So Julian began. He described how he had wandered through villages, asking about wise teachers, until he finally found the monks who lived high in the mountains. They welcomed him and revealed to him the art of living with joy, energy, and purpose. But instead of giving lectures, they taught through a strange fable. "Picture a beautiful garden," Julian said. "The air is fresh, flowers bloom everywhere, and in the center stands a tall lighthouse. Then, out of the bushes, comes a giant sumo wrestler, wearing only a pink wire belt. He finds a golden stopwatch lying on the ground. Suddenly, he slips on the wire and crashes down. For a moment, he lies still, but then he awakens when the fragrance of yellow roses fills his nose. He rises, sees a shining path made of diamonds, and walks down it, towards a life of happiness and peace." John laughed at the odd image. "A sumo wrestler? A pink wire? What does all that mean?" Julian explained patiently. "It may sound silly, but every part of that story carries a secret to living fully. The garden represents our mind, we must keep it healthy and filled with positive thoughts. The lighthouse shows the importance of having a purpose and clear goals. The sumo wrestler reminds us to grow continuously and never stop improving ourselves. His pink wire belt is discipline, the habits that keep life on track. The golden stopwatch teaches us that time is precious and should never be wasted. The roses stand for kindness and serving others, because true joy comes from giving. And finally, the diamond path is the journey of living with purpose, walking each day towards what really matters." John sat in silence, absorbing every word. Julian continued, telling how he had changed his daily life with simple rituals. Rising early, meditating, exercising, reading, practicing gratitude, and focusing on what truly mattered. He no longer chased empty success, instead, he lived with peace, balance, and joy. Looking at his friend, Julian said softly, "You don't need to sell your Ferrari like I did. But you must stop living only for money and success. Master your mind, value your time, discover your purpose, serve others, and enjoy the present moment. That is the way to a life worth living." John felt something stir inside him, a longing for the same peace Julian had found. And as the night went on, he realized this was not just Julian's story. It could be his story too. And that was the story of the monk who sold his Ferrari, a reminder that true success comes from balance, purpose, and inner peace. Make it a habit to listen to an audiobook summary every day. Keep learning, keep growing, and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing summaries. Your journey starts here.